Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of Corpse Party Blood Drive. We just suffered a grievous loss, but of course our work is not yet done. Flesh, ear, nose, eye, mouth. It's freaking gross. I could just walk on the eye. I really didn't think I would be able to. Oh my god, that face from the TV is just in the window. Sorry, name tag. Martulla's tomb researcher, Okeiichi Aoki. Heart stopped from lightning strike? Oh, hey. A glass ball. A ghostly face can be seen imprinted on the glass. That is so creepy. God. Those without power are destined to perish. This school is freaking nuts. I actually really enjoy the aesthetic. Just wildly shifting eyes. It's creepy. There's something written here, though it's very faint. Thank you for killing me. I'm going to die now. Goodbye. Huh? Thinking quickly, I slapped the spirit with my talisman. She seemed to leave something behind on the ground as she disappeared. This, by the way, I think was a secret. So, that's pretty cool. The hexes scrawled on each of the awards in the display case are now glowing, and the laughter of vengeful spirits fills the air. Use the tiny key. There's a small depression in the back of the cabinet, seemingly custom designed for one specific object. Secret number 2. Suddenly, the door across the way seemed to have a different air about it, an entirely more menacing presence. That's a little terrifying. I guess we'll see if that is anything later. Again, this is optional. Bingo. God, this place is so disorienting. Is this anything, or is this the same cabinets? Oh! Alright. No further sense of any presence nearby. Various articles here on the witch hunts that occurred during the Middle Ages. A palpable malice emanates from these documents. That was a little weird. What? I guess I don't need my... Oh. Don't need my flashlight. However, if they follow me like this, it's not so bad, right? Oh my god, this is scary. Oh, that's bad. I see the path, but how do I get to it? Or is this it? That's not so bad. I think I did it. That was a little freaky. Okay. I can actually check all these. Oh boy. Martuba's tomb researcher, Noritake Nakata. Died swiftly but of unknown cause. Body was skewered post-mortem. Martuba's tomb researcher, Ryohei Okamoto. Tomb researcher, Tomomi Hashimoto. Hiroki Iwasawa, Motomasa Maeda, Tatsuya Miyazawa. Wow, that is a lot of bodies. Mages Guild Master, Chiyomaru Shikura. Cannot die. Master of Guild of Surviving Mages. Dwells somewhere here in this world. Yeah, that's what all those side things I did basically led to. Okay. There was a single white door in the back of the crystal-filled room along with an enormous red standing cross. The walls were lined with the crucified corpses of what looked to be the Martuba investigation team sent in before us. Ugh. The Book of Shadows spoke once again. Aiko was at a loss for words. I draped my head and apologized for the sudden outburst. I'd intended to be looking out for Aiko, manufacturing an excuse to keep her out of harm's way, but it came across harshly. It worked, however. Aiko hung back, and I stepped through the door on my own. Inside was another realm entirely. One in which heaven and earth alike sat in ruins. The sky was a twisted coil of red and black, and the ground, or what was left of it, was little more than a black mass. The floorboards from the school stretched before me, converging at a shining staircase leading up into the unknown. And high above all else loomed a conspicuous object, shining brightest of all. That's where they landed? On another mass of floorboards below me were Kishinuma, Mochida, Nakashima, and Magari. Yuka and Satsuki were there too, though they were both clearly unconscious. I cracked a slight smile at Mochida's panicked reaction. My mind was made up. I was going to do this no matter what. I took my first step up the staircase.
Oi!
Nakashima addressed me with much effort, as she still seemed to be in tremendous pain. It was, admittedly, some comfort to receive so much support from all friends. Oh man, this has got to be the final encounter. The stairs faded away behind me, quite literally, each one vanishing as soon as I stepped off it, actively rejecting the notion that anyone but the bearer of the book could be here. I continued climbing until I hit the top, which left me right at the foot of the shining object in the sky. The last of the steps disappeared, leaving me floating in midair. I clasped my arms around the Book of Shadows. I tucked the book under my arm and started leveling myself out a bit. Almost immediately, my vision began to blur. It looked like the world around me was melting. It took me a moment to realize that it was actually motion blur due to the extreme rate of speed at which I was flying. The shining object was getting closer and closer. Oh boy. The following events all happened in rapid succession. The runic letters on my thigh from the blowback at Yoshie Shinozaki's estate began glowing red and spurting blood. As I was observing and confirming this, 4 small blue lights were drawn to me like moths to a flame. Once they got within arm's length, they stopped moving and just hovered. I had a feeling I already knew the answer. These 4 lights were giving off a gentle, caring, friendly glow. They were the purest and strongest lights I'd encountered here. I felt more reassured than ever, just by looking at them. In my mind, I could understand them without the need for words. Their aura was as inviting as could be. I began to cry. This was no time to lament or mourn, though. The runic letters on my arm now began glowing red and spurting blood, just as the ones on my thigh had moments before. The Book of Shadows spoke again. Oh boy. Oh my god. When the Nirvana addresses you in Futhark, you may answer back by pressing X square and triangle and squared, or use Futhark lettering of your own as indicated. Fair warning, all of the wrong endings come from here. I'm gonna mess this up several times. On purpose. Well, I'm gonna go wrong first, right? Or I could just take a hit. Oh, I'm losing the friends. This might just be something you have to memorize. Okay, complete loss. Ooh. Damn. Well, there's a miserable ending for you. This time, I am not going to be an utter failure. I'll at least get one hit off. Yeah, I got a hit off that time. How about that action? And now I will lose. Oh, I actually got a hit off. Square, triangle, X. It's weird to not be circle, but alright. And now for the coup de grace. It's different. I suddenly realized that my vision had gone completely dark. What? I turned around at the sound of Suzumoto's voice, and there she was, Mayo Suzumoto with a warm blue glow. Shinohara, Morishige, and Miss Yui were there too. This is going to be super depressing because this is a wrong end. Shinohara shook her head. The marks on her neck from the noose that had killed her were still present and accounted for. Ugh. In a dark room, surrounded by skeletal corpses, I stood and I spoke with my friends. I was happy and content, and lost myself to this sensation of camaraderie that I'd so missed. The morning never came. It was perpetual night here, but I barely even noticed. I was ready for this eternal existence with my dear departed friends. Whoa, that's depressing. Oh my god. Ugh. Wow, the wrong end actually unlocked some voices, I think. Interesting. Or the thing from the voice actor. Wow. That is rough. This time I am going to do something very unconventional. I am going to win, after losing all of my friends. And now I'm going to win? I awoke to a white expanse stretched out before me, and realized I was still in midair. It almost seemed like I was above the clouds, looking down on the world below. Finally, the light from the Book of Shadows faded, its power spent. I immediately lost my balance and fell through the sea of clouds, landing with a thump. Before me, I saw a young blonde girl sitting in the nude. The entire area was so blindingly bright, though, that I couldn't make out who she was. The clouds clung to the ground even here, giving my surroundings their unearthly glow, pure white, as if this were the aftermath of a blizzard. I could make out new details the longer I focused, and now noticed that the girl before me had almost translucent blue eyes with no eyebrows. She was gazing fixedly at me. I could only think of this being as someone who existed beyond all human knowledge. I addressed her with a fearful break in my voice, but she just continued staring at me in total silence. I raised the Book of Shadows, but the girl's expression did not change. The girl spoke, but I couldn't understand what she was saying. The girl stood and began approaching me. I caught viscera and some kind of form of the word configure in there, so I don't think I'm going to like where this is going. I tried to take a step back, but tripped and fell. This is when I first noticed my surroundings. The clouds had receded a bit, revealing no snow broth, but a thick forest of half-dead trees. The girl approached me slowly, one step at a time in an almost rhythmical manner. Her mouth opened wide. Oh. And a large branch popped out from the back of her throat. Suddenly she was crucified directly in front of me. Blood splattered everywhere. I was completely drenched. I screamed and tried to move back, but my legs had given out. Meanwhile, the Book of Shadows lay on the ground. It was the farthest thing from my mind at that moment. Then, from behind this skewered girl, I caught sight of another girl who looked just like her flaming body hanging from a tree. It swung very slightly in place, creaking and groaning with each revolution. I could hear accusatory yells in that same foreign language coming from hysterical men and women in the forest. Whoa. I shifted my focus from the burning hanged girl on the tree back to the girl in front of me, and she too was now completely burned. She continued walking toward me little by little, step by painful, deliberate step. And when she finally reached me, she put her hands around my neck and began to choke me. Thinking quickly, however, I grabbed the girl's arms, pulled her in, and gave her the biggest hug I could muster. The burned girl stopped moving entirely. I guess I'd gotten her attention. My eyes began to overflow with tears. I loosened my grip slightly, and the burned girl began to stroke my cheek delicately, yet strangely. She continued to stroke my cheek, but then also raised her other hand to my eye, stuck out her finger, and jammed it right into my eye socket. Pain shot through me in one incredible wave. From somewhere deep within my head, I could hear the sound of a foreign body digging around my muscle tissue. Her finger had directly cut my ophthalmic nerve. Oh god. Between the intense agony and the deeply disturbing sound, I felt like I was on the verge of insanity. Ugh. I'm having the original Corpse Party, Chapter 3, Yuka wrong and flashbacks with this one. That decided, I allowed my body to give in to the convulsions that had been racking it. I was trying not to consciously focus on the pain, instead focusing on the girl. Ah, man, but seriously. I felt as if I were moments from choking in my own tongue when the girl's finger finally dug my right eye out of its socket completely. Oh, man, really? Words could not describe the extreme pain. I cramped up completely and began shivering. The girl then put the sticky, bloody eyeball in her palm, displaying it triumphantly in view of my other eye for a moment before squeezing it with every ounce of strength she had. Wow. It still had some elasticity to it, so it expanded in her hand until its length had roughly doubled, but it could only take so much, eventually exploding into milky white and red goo. That is goddamn disgusting. Yet I still refused to show any signs of intimidation. I did not react. I waited until the girl's eyes met mine, then flashed her a soft smile. She looked genuinely puzzled. And then she threw herself at me, and our lips met. I was honestly expecting the other eye. Oh, careful now. I hugged her once more in spite of my trembling arms. Watch those teeth. This is a wrong end, isn't it? A huge shockwave shook the air, transforming into light and shattering around me. When the light settled, I was standing at the top of those mystic red stairs, which had now reformed and stretched down below me to the remnants of heavenly host. Oof. I held my exploded right eye in my right hand and the book of shadows in my left. Where is everybody but Satsuki? I sighed again and looked around me. The only distinctly visible thing nearby was a large pool of blood, and standing right in the middle of it was a girl wearing the same school uniform as Yuka's. Yeah, that's right, Ayumi doesn't know Satsuki, does she? She turned around and looked at me, sobbing uncontrollably. Her eyes were pitch black and her entire countenance seemed somehow off. Oh, great. Satsuki licked her lips at the speed of a lizard. Oh my god, she has the lizard tongue. It was the sort of movement that no ordinary human could possibly accomplish, though it happened so quickly that I was kind of doubting what I'd just seen. Huh. It was only after I'd asked this that I heard a voice from behind me. This cannot possibly be good. It looked like something had bitten off most of Magari's body from the waist down. That's what that is! I thought she was hanging onto the cliff! Her flesh was tattered, her organs exposed, and blood absolutely everywhere. I had no idea what she was talking about. Then, in a flash, Satsuki's head split apart like a blooming flower, and the creature lunged directly at me. Oh! Here it comes. Just like that, my head was bitten clean off my body, and the rest of me just plopped to the ground. Chewing and crunching sounds echoed throughout the empty, otherwise silent space as Satsuki enjoyed her freshly caught meal. Wow, that was a long and elaborate setup for a wrong end. How much you want to bet the right end is the same thing, except it's okay when we get back? I even bet that Ayumi continues to lose her eye. I bet you that's canon, but we'll find out. EVP entries for Satsuki. God damn. One more attempt, and this time we're doing it right. No more wrong ends. We've gotten them all. Time to beat this game.